What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to the Den. I am your host, Ed Honcho. I'm glad that you could join me today. We have a very interesting story. You can check the little graphics that'll be sliding throughout the stream for whatever additional information you want to know. If you want to support the channel, if you want to know more about the channel, follow the social medias, all that'll be there. Make sure you join us. We go live every night, 7 days a week at 10 p.m. Central Time. You can call into the Den, share your thoughts on this video or whatever the topic of the night is. And Monday through Friday at 1 p.m., the day dens, you can also call in and share your thoughts. But let's get into this story because I've been seeing this video circulating on social media today. And I want to get in it because it says so much. There's so much going on in this video that I don't think most people are looking at. There's just so many angles that have to be addressed. So I'm going to show you the video first, and then I'm going to break it down to you as to why some of the people who are celebrating this video are wrong about certain other things. And I'm going to tell you there's a little bit more going on here than you really want to acknowledge. But I think it's beautiful. I love it, but for different reasons than most people who are sharing this video. So check out this lovely couple here. They look like a nice black couple. And that's all I can say about it. I really don't know too much more about them. But let's get into it. Let's just check out the video and let's go from there. All right, I'm gonna let y'all see it. I may be mumbling random things incoherently in the background.
You gonna do it? You want me to? Hi. You know what? I do apologize. I know you've come from a very long way, but we're gonna use someone else.
She's upset with the flag.
No, I'm beyond upset with the flag. No, you don't need to take it down. You continue to believe what you need to believe, sir. But no, I cannot pay you for your services. Thank you. Have a good day.
Now, you notice how the husband approached versus how the wife approached, and there's some things that went on there that some of you may or may not be recognizing. But just kind of let the video play out. That's what she was upset about, the Confederate flag. And I'm going to speak on, there's multiple layers to this video that need to be understood. Okay. And so let's kind of get into it. It makes its way down the street. It really is what it is. So let's check this out. The article is from the Daily Mail that they gave a little bit more detail on it. And I'm going to break down that video and I'm going to tell you what was going on and why this is such a beautiful video on so many levels. But I'm going to tell you what was wrong with this situation. Anyway, it says, black homeowner turns away white contractor who arrives with a huge Confederate flag flying from the back of his truck. General contractor arrived at the Georgia home of Zeke and Allison Brown. Allison denied his services when she saw the huge Confederate flag on his truck. In the video, Allison is heard telling the man that we're going to use someone else. He is then seen getting into his truck and pulling off as the flag flies from the back. If you know this contractor, contact. Now, I find that very odd. Like, why does it matter? Because there's so many random videos and stories that get put on the internet. What is it that they need to hear from the contractor? I'm curious. But anyway, that's their right to do so. Say, this is the moment a black homeowner turned away a white contractor saw the huge Confederate flag. You know, we kind of see the clip. You know what they're saying in the clip. Husband Zeke says, hey, she's upset with the flag. I'm beyond upset with the flag. Again, a lot of it is, you know, her responding emotionally to it, you know. And so you just kind of see what it says. Ryan Spann, I guess this is her nephew or something like that. Shared the video on Facebook, gave little background information, of course. Said he arrived, my aunt caught the huge Confederate flag hanging at the back of his truck. Trust no work was done that day. She cordially thanked him for making the trip, but we're good, love, and joy. If y'all don't know, that's from the future thing with the chick. I'm good, love, and joy. So that's now a phrase now. The video has more than 33,000 views and several comments that agree with the aunt refusing to allow the man to work on her home, right? It took place in Atlanta, Georgia on Sunday, so a couple of days ago. And again, here's the picture of the family. Now y'all know where I got it from. Couple of people, you know, voicing their opinions, whatever else it is. Some of these comments are stupid. And some of them are cool. Love the way you handle the situation. We're not even getting to the Queen commentary and stuff. That's a whole different conversation. But, you know, and again, so let me talk about it. Let's kind of get into it. Let me tell you why this is so beautiful. Why this is such an awesome exchange, and it tells you what's really going on. We have people who complain about how America is terrible and horrible. It's the worst place on the face of the earth. There's so much terrible stuff going on. look at this dynamic, right? You can call it power dynamic, or you can call it the frame, the structure, whatever you want to call it. This is a black family who looks to be doing well for themselves. They look like they're in a nice neighborhood. Looks like the streets are clean. Looks like there's a bunch of nice houses, not in the hood, not in the ghetto. The gentleman who's coming up to do work, again, he's in his work clothes. It might be his work truck. He probably has, he may have an alternative vehicle or something, but I'm going to say not, because I think that on your personal vehicle, you would probably leave up your flags and things like that. And on your work vehicle, you might not have it so decorated, if you will. So this might be his vehicle, his primary vehicle, and he's out to do some work. Now, I'm going to point out a couple of things. Was he foolish, especially being in Atlanta, which is what the blackest place in America, and also some other weird stuff going on in Atlanta. So if you're from Atlanta, don't be all full of yourself. And shout out to again, AB, Anthony Belly, because he provided this for me first. And shout out to one of my favorite den folk from Atlanta, Miss Meat 37. I already know you're probably talking about some rise up. Sit your ass down. Don't nobody root for the Falcons. But so going to Atlanta with this, you gotta think. So was he doing smart business? Absolutely not. Regardless of what your opinions are, what your feelings are, you lost one. So I cannot blame her for feeling the way that she felt. Isn't capitalism beautiful because you have choices? Isn't that amazing? You know, some people say capitalism is horrible, it's terrible. Well, capitalism allows you to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to use your services because there's other options out there that I prefer to spend my money with. That's the beauty of capitalism. The same people who will argue about this and complain about other aspects and elements of this story, well, we'll get to that. Didn't see any real beef. There was no real issue. My only issue with the way that she handled it is notices how a man handles a situation from the way that the woman handled the situation. She was clearly emotional, and she did a very good job of suppressing herself and her words, but you could tell if you look close enough, she was very emotional about the situation. The man came out, he wasn't really tripping. She tripping on the flag. I don't think he gives a fuck. I don't think most men give a shit about certain things the same way that certain women do. I'm not gonna say certain, that women do. They're gonna respond to the situation, hey, you know, because honestly, if he hadn't have said anything about the flag, she wouldn't even mention it. And so the contractor wouldn't have known what he did wrong in her eyes, right? You know, he had offered that I could take it down or whatever it may be. And again, she was polite, and so there's nothing wrong with what she said. But you have to notice how her emotions had got the best of her, that she wasn't even able to address the issue. And when I talk about these situations where you come into a conflict of race or whatever it may be, however you want to feel it is, you have to use these as teaching moments. You know, people rather get mad, oh, you told them. You never know what a person has experienced. People automatically assume that you've had the same experiences that they had and that they just automatically know. Now, if you're operating in Atlanta, I've heard a lot of things about Georgia. Never really been throughout that area. But, you know, if you're in Atlanta, it's like I say, probably the blackest place in America right now, that or DC, one of them. And to be trying to do business in what is probably most likely going to be a black area, who knows? Maybe he thought that neighborhood, maybe, I don't know that neighborhood, I'm not familiar with it. Maybe someone from Atlanta can update me and give me some clues if you're more familiar with the situation. But he wasn't thinking. And like I say, she could have maximized the opportunity to make that a teaching moment. If the husband would have said, hey, she's upset about the flag. And you saw how casual he was. He wasn't tripping. He wasn't emotional about it. He just knew, oh, here goes my wife again. That man has a hard time at home. But I'm not even going to get into that segment of the conversation. We might talk about that later on in the live den one of these days. But, you know, he's probably used to her responding to things emotionally. But again, like I said, I have no problem with what she said. She could have maximized the situation by saying, hey, I have an issue with your flag, and so I'm not going to use your services. Because all she did was tell them, hey, we're not going to use your services. Thank you for coming and leaving. You don't understand. There may be that disconnect. To him, it's just, hey, whatever, this is where I'm from. And I'm sure there's some good old country Georgia boys, and that's what they do, right? And so he may not be thinking of it. It may not be a thing to him. He may not relate to that because he doesn't have whatever experiences that it may be. So that little piece of information that the husband interjected with was crucial, because she would have just told him, hey, no, thank you, we're not going to, and went on. And I think that lack of communication could have hindered him in the future. He could have made the same mistake. You know, he might not have learned from this lesson. Now he knows, like, next time I do business, now he's a better business owner or whatever he's doing, whatever you want to call it, because of that small interjection of the commentary. Now, for everybody who says that, oh, black people are getting beat down and doing all this stuff, looks like they had the upper hand in this situation. So is this an act of racism? Because we talk about power and people say, well, black folks can't be racist because we don't have the power structure to be racist or to do any of these things. Okay, and I'm not saying that they were racist, but they were clearly offended and they had the power to say, hey, you know what? No thanks, adios amigo, and we're going to go in a different direction. They had the financial means or whatever the problem was that he was coming to fix. I guess they could do without it being fixed, that they'll be all right. And they have options, and they look like they're doing all right. Look like the vehicles in their driveway might have been nicer than what he was driving. So is that an act of racism by those dynamics, by those standards? Again, y'all know my feelings if you've been fucking around the den long enough and how I feel about a lot of stuff. And I know you're gonna say, oh, it's not systemic and it's not this and that and the third. Well, maybe they might have a different dynamic going over there in Atlanta. Who knows? I don't know. Hot Atlanta. But my thoughts on this, like I say, I found it amusing. I have no problem with what she said. I have no problem with how the outcome was, because again, if you are offended by what somebody's doing, then they have the right to reject you. But at the same way, when the tables are turned, people don't look at what they're doing. So if you go into a place and you're acting a certain way, dressed a certain way or whatever, it could be offensive to somebody else, but that's what you're used to naturally. But because people aren't embracing that on you, you're upset and it becomes racist and it becomes something else. So as many people are congratulating this situation and happy about this, look at it in other dynamics. Reverse the table, switch it up when you look at some of these other stories that automatically become racism just because people of different races have an interaction. This situation happened to be the black couple had the upper hand or had the options and decided to refuse that gentleman's services. I think he was polite about it. He didn't seem to be too upset. I'm sure he probably mumbled some stuff in the car. I'll be the last time I come over here, you goddamn motherfuckers. Yes, that's my country Georgia boy, white guy voice. But again, that's the beauty of America. That's the beauty of America. You people holler about all these other countries. Guess what you don't get to do? You may not have those options. You may not have the ability to live in certain neighborhoods. You may not have neighborhoods that even exist like that in certain countries. So again, for all this oppression and beat down and everything else that we holler about all the time, this situation is much different. Now, I don't know if you agree or you disagree. You can hit that comment section down below. Again, we are live Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Central. Live every night, 10 p.m. Central. You can call into the den, call the den line, express your thoughts, whatever it may be, however you may feel, whatever you are thinking about this video or many of the other topics. Like I said, we have a topic for every stream, but if you want to call in and talk about something different, that's more than fine. So 2 hours in the day, 2 hours in the evening. But with that being said, hey man, like, share, subscribe. You got to share this stuff because y'all know my commentary, big tech don't like what I be talking about sometimes. So hey, we got to make this shit shake one way or another. Shout out to all the den folks. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Shout out to just everybody who's rocking with it. I will see y'all when I see y'all. Depending on when you watch this video, it might be this evening, it might be morning time, who knows? But I look forward to seeing y'all. With that being said, I'm your host, Ed Honcho. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. I want to know how you feel, man. Hit that comment section below, and I'm out.